Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk to you about something really important actually. It's what you're worth and what people are willing to pay you. And what I do find is a lot of people work for a lot less money because they don't think they're worth more. And maybe they're not. I'll give you my opinion of this. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Zevi Shafran. I'm an owner of a mortgage company in Los Angeles, Lombrook Inc. I'm also the founder of the Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy, which is available for you via link in the description of this video. Let's jump into the video real quick. And by the way, if you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up so other people like you can find it on YouTube quite easily. So let's talk about perceived value for just 1 second. Well, here's the deal. Look, if you're somebody who's just working on handshakes, right? And you're thinking, hey, I'm doing such a good job for people. People are going to enjoy my service. And when it's time to pay me, they'll pay me what I'm worth. You're absolutely wrong. They will always discount your fee. Not only will they discount your fee, they will butcher your fee. And the reason is there's got to be some kind of a baseline, right? Watch. We walk into a restaurant. You know that the service fee is anywhere between 18 to 20%. I mean, it's common knowledge, right? But if somebody is a tour guide giving you a tour the whole day, you could tip the guy $10 at the end of the tour and he might be expecting 100, but you don't know, there's no guideline. Nobody is there to tell you. So my point is, make sure that when you are working, that the consumer always knows the amount of money that's going to be due at the end of the transaction. Now, on my end of the business, which is lending, and if you're watching this, more than likely you're interested in becoming either a residential or a commercial loan officer. Everything I do revolves around terms. And when those terms are met, then I automatically share with the client my fee. Now, in some instances, I can get paid directly by the lender themselves, but in most cases, I get paid by the borrower. And I make sure to illustrate those fees in detail because the last thing I need is to get to the funding table and then the borrower, one, either doesn't know what they have to pay me, number two, wants to negotiate my fee, or number three, doesn't know what the fee is, which is a disaster, right? Now, let me tell you this. The reason why a lot of people undercharge is because they don't quite yet have the confidence in their skill set, meaning that they haven't developed it quite yet to be able to, with confidence, request the amount of money that's going to be due when the transaction is closed. Now, me personally, most of my transactions are structured, again, depending on loan amount, anywhere between 1% and 2%. If somebody wants to borrow $1 million, my fee 1% would be $10,000. Now, depending on the type of transaction that I do, if it's a commercial transaction, I will typically pick up a $1,000 to $2,000 non-refundable processing fee to start working on the borrower's transaction. And why do I do that? Because look, if you're not having a conversation and you're like, okay, if you can get me this loan, then I agree to your terms, then I'm assigning a processing team to this file. They're not working for free. Now, in some instances, if you talk to a lot of loan officers, they are working for free. And I think that's wrong because there's two paths in lending. And then the first path has everything to do with your job. You putting together the deal, making sure that the financials work, that whole thing, right? But the other path has nothing to do with you. What if the client decides not to purchase the property and, you know, you're doc ready, then what? You just spent like 60 days doing all this work and it all goes in the trash and you receive no money for it? Or what if there's a problem, physical problem with the real estate because every transaction goes through an inspection period, right? So you have the contingency for the loan, you have also the contingency for the physical inspection, meaning that there's X amount of time to get a loan, but there's also X amount of time to make sure that the real estate is not broken. And if it is, then guess what? They're going to go back to the seller and say, hey, I need credit. But what if the seller says, no, I'm not giving you anything? Then why do I need to suffer for it? I need to always make sure that I'm in a position of getting paid. And that's what you need to learn. Now, last year, I put this program together. It's called the Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy. Talked a ton about it. But I'm very proud of it because it's something that I literally spent a year putting together, and it's 10 years worth of my knowledge literally consuming all my knowledge and all the tools which are proprietary, everything that I've built to literally be able to put together these transactions that I'm talking to you about in my videos. So if you want to check it out, please do so. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're very serious about getting into the business, because people will only pay you as much as they believe you are worth. Once I start talking to people, going through a transaction, having conversations, two things happen. Number one, either I decline the transaction within a few minutes, and that saves me a ton of my time, or I tell the client that I'm interested and I give them terms, and when they agree to the terms, I let them know that my fee is anywhere between 1% and 2% depending on the loan amount, right? Now, both of those things have to do with skill, right? For me to be able to literally cancel a transaction in just a couple of minutes and be like, this transaction is not going anywhere. It's going to be a big waste of my time. I don't even want to spin my wheels. Requires me to have a certain level of skill, right? To save me so much time. And then on the other side, for the client to feel very comfortable to say, well, Zevi really knows what he's talking about, I would love to use his services, also requires a skill of not only explaining the knowledge to education, somewhat of being able to pull the client in with the words that you say, right? All that is years worth of training. And so for somebody to step into this thinking that, one, I'm transaction, right? I just want to step into this, see how much money I can make doing it. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you even try? You know, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day. Literally, for somebody, a young person, to build credit takes a few years, right? And for somebody just to go get a loan today on the institutional side, on the residential end, you need like 12 months worth of a revolving credit card, at least one, if not two, over 12 to 24 months. Which means that for anybody to give you money, to think that you're credit worthy means that you've had to show credibility for 12 to 24 months. So if you're going to go give somebody a loan as a lender and you haven't even been doing this for 12 to 24 months, thinking that within 3 months you're going to be a six-figure business, it doesn't make any sense. So hopefully, if you're the type of person who's trying to look at this more as a career, then you're the kind of person that I'm talking to. If you're a person who's simply looking for a side hustle, something that within a month or two you can try to, get to six figures with, it's just completely not realistic. You can go back to scrolling on Reels on Instagram. I mean, none of that is realistic. I just wanted to touch on those points. I was very passionate about this idea, and I said, you know what? For anybody who doesn't set their fee up front, I have loan officers that I work with literally until today, and they come to me with this notion that, we're working on a transaction, and you might wonder, okay, why are you working with other loan officers? Well, it's pretty simple. I've told you guys many times that residential loan officers don't necessarily know how to deal with commercial business. So when they do get those type of transactions, no matter where they are, if you build that relationship, because everything is built around relationships. You typically call the person that you know, and if you don't know, then you typically ask for a referral. So if you're that person and they reach out to you, then they're going to pull you into a commercial transaction. A lot of times what I find is people don't have the skill set, whether it's in lending or in sales, and then the client comes on board and goes, hey, how about a massive discount? And then the loan officer freaks out and goes, I have to give a discount to earn the business, which is completely not true. Has nothing to do with it. Always go back to the value. What value are you providing to this borrower? I'm not talking about somebody who walks into a bank with a W-2, right? They can get a loan anywhere, but for that self-employed borrower, writes off their, all their income. They may have a schedule of real estate, a bunch of LLCs, things that you literally have to analyze and go through, have skill to do so. If you're in a position that you can lend to that individual, there's absolutely no reason, as long as you're being reasonable, right, 1% to 2%, for that individual to come back and ask for a discount. You're gauging this based on the amount of time that you're going to spend on this individual's file. So when I'm working with loan officers who don't have that skill set and they come back to me and they're like, hey, Zevi, good news, the guy said give him a 0.5 point discount after we issue terms for signature and he will get on board and do the deal. And the answer is no, why would I, right? if you know how to sell the deal and you know how to convey the value, if you have skill, then you shouldn't have a problem closing that transaction, because the end user knows that getting a loan is not the easiest thing in the world, and they're looking for a professional, and a professional doesn't work for free. And that's basically what it is, right? So I don't want to drag the video, guys, but if you have any questions about any of these concepts, please drop them in the comments below. I'm on vacation right now. I'm enjoying this. I'm super relaxed. And I got to tell you, to be able to be remote and still have a running business, a board full of deals that are literally in escrow right now or getting near the finish line, and I'm able to sit here, do this remotely, still film these videos for you. It's amazing, and you can do the exact same thing if you're interested, all right? So with that, thank you for watching this. I appreciate you guys being here. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm always happy to get your questions, and I'm super happy to answer them for you. All right? If there's something that I didn't cover that you want me to go through, video ideas, just drop them in the comments as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so other people like yourself can find it. Much easier on YouTube. With that, thank you guys for being here. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Take care.